Let's learn how to solve the first layer, which is the white layer of a Rubik's Cube. It can be any layer, but traditionally we like white as the first layer, and the rest of my videos are also on the white. So white is my first layer, so let's do that. This video requires absolutely no basics. Now, if you're holding the Rubik's Cube in your life, first time in your life, you can follow along. So the first step would be, if you've never done anything with the Rubik's Cube, is to actually get your hands dirty. Pause this video, get your hands dirty, and just try doing it yourself. I know it sounds overwhelming at first, but this is super important, because when you start doing it yourself without any tutorial, any guidance, you get some basic intuition behind how the pieces move, what are the different kinds of pieces you have, and all of that. And discovering it yourself is the best way to do that. And I think that with a little bit of persistence, white first layer can be solved. I did it after a long time. It took me months to do that, but I did it. I know a lot of folks also who can do that. And even if you can't do it, it's fine, because you will get some intuition, which is super helpful. Discovering yourself is always helpful. So do that, and yeah, come back after that. All right, if you're giving it a try, welcome back. And if you've already solved the first layer, then you can skip the video completely and watch part 2 and part 1. Okay. All right, let's do this. So the way I like to think about, there are multiple ways to solve the first layer, but one of the ways to do that is to first solve the cross, which is solving the edges. Notice that there are 3 kinds of pieces on the cube. There's a center piece, which tells you what the face color should be. So is this white? So then that means this whole thing should be white. This is red, that means the whole thing should be red, and so on. And then there's this edge piece, which has 2 colors. And then there are the corners, which have 3 colors. So the first step, one of the ways which you can do this is we can build the first layer is we'll first solve the cross, meaning we'll put all the white edges in place, and then we'll put all the corners in place. You don't have to do it that way, but that's one of the ways to get started. I think that's a beginner way of getting started, so maybe we can do it that way. So before we start building the cross or building all the edges, let's first think about how do we put any edge from anywhere, any white edge on the top. Let's first do that and think about it. All right, so where are the different edges? Where and all could the white edges be? So one possibility is the white edge could already be on the top but not flipped up. So that's one possibility. So it could be on the top layer. This is the top layer for us, white one. Then the edge could be somewhere in the middle layer. For example, notice there is one edge in the middle layer. That's another possibility. It could be here, anywhere. Then the edges can be in the bottom layer as well. And there are 2 cases. Edge can be either this way, which is flipped in this direction in the bottom layer, or the edge can be flipped in the bottom. I mean the white that I want, sorry, that's what I mean. The white can be here, or the white can be at the bottom. So these are the 4 possible cases. Top layer can be this way in the top layer, one in the middle layer, and you can have a bottom layer either this way or this way. And our goal is to figure out how to take any of these white edges and put them on the top. So let me start with the middle layer, if the white is on the middle layer, because that's the easiest one. So let's say if you have a white in the middle layer somewhere, how do I put it on the top? Well, just do one turn and done. That's why I like it. That's the easiest one. If you had a white somewhere over here, if let's say this red was white, how would you put it on the top? Just do one turn. Okay, fine. So we now know if any edge is on the middle layer, how to bring it to the top. Just do one turn. So if any white pieces you find on the middle layer, we can just do one turn and that comes on the top. What if the white is on the top layer, or if it's in the bottom layer? Then our first step is to bring it to the middle layer and then bring it to the top. For example, look at this one. The white is over here, but I want to bring this white on the top. How do I do that? So what I do is I say, look, this white is in the top layer. I'll first bring it to the middle layer, and then I'll bring it to the top. Now, how do you bring it to the middle layer? You can kind of see from my finger, like, if you want the white to come here, can you kind of imagine the rotation required? The rotation is this way. So I rotate like this, bring it to the middle layer. This is our middle layer. And then I bring it to the top. I'm done. I could have done it the other way around. I could have rotated it from here to here. This is also middle layer. I could have brought here, bring it to the top. Cool, right? So I know now, if something's on the top, how do I bring it over here? Bring it to the middle layer and then bring it to the top. Okay, let's consider the last case. What if the white is somewhere in the bottom? Same idea, say it's over here, it's in the bottom. How do I bring it to the top? I'm pretty sure you know it. You get it, bring it to the middle layer, then bring it to the top. So bring it to the middle layer, then I bring it to the top. And that's how you bring it to the top. All right, final. What if the white is in the last layer somewhere over here? Down somewhere over here. Same idea again. Bring it to the middle layer. How do you bring this to the middle layer? Oh, let's keep track of which your layers are. This is the top layer, this is the middle layer, and this is the bottom layer. The yellow is the bottom layer, okay? So bring it to the middle layer, so it's over here. Bring it to the top, and you're done. All right, so this is how you can bring any white edge from anywhere to the top. All right, so why don't you pause the video and practice this now? Practice putting any white pieces, any white edges to the top. Don't worry about building the cross, we'll do that next. Once you know how to bring it to the top, then we can build the cross. All right, so play around and you might find multiple ways of doing, other ways of doing that as well. So just play around until you're comfortable. Now that you have practiced how to bring the white to the top, let's go ahead and solve our cross. So first, let's put some white piece on the top. I can immediately see one white piece over here, and I'm gonna put it on the top. So let me do that with one turn, and I'm done. Now it looks like we have gotten the first piece right, but from the top, it looks like, okay, this is where the white is supposed to go, and you can put white anywhere you want. But if you look from here, you see that this is a red. That means this whole thing is supposed to be red. Remember, if center is red, this is supposed to be red. That means this is not in the right piece. This is a blue. So this is supposed to go to a place, to an edge where the center was blue, and that is over here. So that means this piece should have gone over here. Now, because this is the first piece that we have attached, I can very easily move this from here to here. I can just do this, and we're done. So from now, so once you have fixed one of the edges, now we need to be very careful about where we're putting the rest of the edges. Over here, there must be an orange white. Over here, there must be a green white. And over here, there must be a red white. So let's go ahead and fix all the edges. So I have another edge on the middle layer. I'm lucky because one turn and I fix it. But now let's be mindful, let's be careful and see whether that's the right place. So if I take a turn like this, then notice the pieces are not aligned. So the orange is not aligned to green. And now I can't just do a turn like this because then this goes away, which I had turned previously. So before I make this turn, I need to see carefully where this piece is supposed to go. So where do you think this piece is supposed to go? This white orange. This white orange is supposed to go here. All right. But when I do a turn like this, this goes here. So how do I fix this? How do I fix this white over here? So what I do is I know that while doing this turn, this piece comes here, right? And I know this is supposed to go here. So what I do then is I turn this and prepare for insertion. Insert this, turn this back. Did that make sense? Let me do it one more time. I know that white needs to go here, but in my insertion, it comes here. So what I do is I bring this empty slot in this position because that's where this is supposed to go. Then I make that turn and then I come back. And notice now I have fixed two white pieces. Okay, let's scout for more. There's one more white piece over here. Where should this go? Now, even before thinking about where this should go, my first step is to bring it to the middle layer because if I don't bring it to the middle layer, I don't know how to insert it. So let's first bring it to the middle layer. And while doing that, notice this goes away. See, if I bring it to the middle layer, this goes away. So how do I fix this? Well, what I do is I say, okay, in this rotation, this goes away. So let me bring some unsolved edge over here. So I'm going to bring, let's say, this unsolved edge over here. And now I do the rotation so that those two are safe so that they don't go away. And yeah, so I can do that. All right. Now I can bring that back, whichever turn I did. So we now have these two fixed and this is now ready for insertion. I can insert it over here, but up that goes away. That means it goes in the wrong place. Now I ask myself, where should this edge go? There's a red over here and the red is here. So this edge piece should go here. This edge piece should go here. But in my insertion, this goes from here to here. So what I do is I bring this empty slot in its position. And now I insert this and I take it back. And probably I'm not explaining it properly or maybe you get confused. It's okay. I'm sure you'll get it after a few tries. Okay, last insertion, last one. Okay, it's over here. I need to insert it, but before I insert, I first have to bring it to the middle layer. And if I bring it to the middle layer, this goes away. I don't want that to happen. So what I'll do is I'll bring an unsolved edge in its position. I'll bring it to the middle layer. I'll take this back. Now all three are fixed. Yeah, I'm just keep looking at it, all right. And now it's ready for insertion, and notice I already have an empty slot over here. If this was not true, then I'll just move it until I get an empty slot. All right, so there'll always be one empty. If there's one edge remaining, there'll be one empty slot. Put it, and we have solved our cross. And we are now ready to solve our corners. But before we do that, I want you to practice this again. Mess it up, and again try solving for this cross. And after doing that, maybe if you feel adventurous, maybe try solving the corners yourself. So now that we have solved the cross, let's go ahead and solve our corners. Now, the corners can either be on the top layer or they can be in the bottom layer. Now, sometimes corners can be on the top layer. You can have a white corner on the top layer, but it may not be flipped. So that's one problem you could have. Corners can be the white corner, that's what I'm talking about, can be in the bottom layer. And in the bottom layer, you can have two cases. You can have the white face facing me this way. This is the top, and I like to think of this as facing me. This is the part that I love the most, is the easiest one to insert. And then you can have a corner in which the white is facing down. So see, it's facing towards the bottom layer. This is the most annoying one. We'll look at that towards the end. So let me start with my favorite one. What if the corner is facing in the bottom layer, but it's facing me? So what I first like to do is I would like to first think about where should this corner go? And I look at the colors. This is orange green. And so it has to be near orange green. So orange green is here. So this is the corner where you're supposed to have white, orange, green, white, orange, green. And here is our corner. So what I do is I first align it in that line, vertical line. So I align it over here this way. And now I think about how do I insert this corner over here, okay? All right, so if I want to bring this white on the top, what rotation would I have to do? What would I have to do if we didn't have to worry about screwing up the top? Well, if you didn't have to worry about screwing up the top, to bring this white over here, I would just do this. Notice, it matches, it's fun. So now comes the question, how do I bring this to the top without screwing this part up? See, when I'm doing this, this got screwed, this piece got screwed. So now comes the question, how do I bring this over here without screwing this? And there are a couple of ways to do that. One way is we could say, look, when I move this to the top, since this is getting screwed, let's put this away from this rotation. So let's put that away somewhere in a safe place from this rotation, rotate it, and then bring it back. So here's what I mean. Because this is rotating in this, okay, here's what I mean. So let me get rid of this edge from this rotation. And the way I can do that is I will move everything to the right. So here's what I mean. So I'm gonna make a turn to the right this way and keep this edge safe here. Then I'll do this, and then I'll bring all of that back. And notice I have inserted this without screwing up any of the top. Let me undo that. So if I want to insert this over here, I move this away. So keep it in a safe space. Rotating this will not affect this. Bring this over here and then bring this back. This is one way of inserting. Let me show you another way of inserting. Let me again undo this. Let me show you another way of inserting. Another way of inserting is, think of it this way. If I want to insert this over here, I can first take this and connect it over here. Imagine I ignore this white, okay? Ignore this white for now. Imagine I brought this down and connected. Then I can insert this together. So now my question is, how do I bring this down over here? Well, I just do a downturn. But hey, doing that downturn screws this up. So how do I bring this down here? By keeping this piece over here. Same logic, put it away from the rotation. So what I do is I put it away from the rotation. This is the rotation. Bring it down, put it back, and notice I've connected it. And once I connect it, I can take it up. Let me do it one more time. Show you one more time. Okay, so here we were. I want to bring this down over here, but I don't want this to screw up. So I'll move it away. I can't do it this way. If I do it this way, it's still in that rotation. Notice it is still in that rotation. So I don't want that. I will move it away, bring it down, bring it like this, connect it, take it to the top. And so that's why if you have a corner at the bottom, and notice now I have a second corner at the bottom, I can insert it. Let me go ahead and insert this corner as well. So I ask myself, where is this corner supposed to go? Blue, orange. So blue, orange. All right, blue, orange. This is where it's supposed to go. I align it. And now I ask myself, what rotation should I do to bring this to the top? This is what I should do. But I don't want to screw this up. So a couple of ways. Either I move this away, bring this to the top, bring it back. It's one way. Or I connect this over here. So to do that, I want to bring this down, but I will move this away, bring this down, connect it. Notice I've connected, bring this to the top. Okay, so that's the easy one. So if you have corners on the bottom, hopefully now you know how to insert them without screwing up the top. Now let's do the little hard one. All right, so here is a corner. I think I'll tackle that towards the end. Let me consider this one. I have a corner that is up here. It is in the right place if you look at it, see? It's a red-green corner. It is in between the red-green, so it's supposed to be in this place and it's in the right place. But the problem is it is flipped. So what do I do? What I like to do is first bring this down here to our previous case and then we will insert it. So how do I bring this down? Well, one way to bring this down is I can do this turn, but that's horrible. I don't like this case. Don't put the white down, so I don't want that. Another way of bringing this down is I can do this, and this is what I like. This is what I like because once I do this, I can insert it. Notice I can insert it this way. So now comes the question, how do I bring this down without screwing this up? If I do this, this got screwed up. So you can use the same logic. I want to bring this down, but I don't want to screw this up, so I can move this away. So I can move it away, bring it down, move this back. And once I brought it over here, we know how to insert it. Let me show you one more time what I did. It was over here. I want to move it down because I want that corner to come down facing me because I know how to insert it. But if I just do this, this gets screwed up. So I move this away. And why I'm moving both? Because if this was also inserted, this would have also gotten screwed up. If this white piece was in place, doing this screws this up this way as well. So I move all of that away. So no headaches, bring this down, bring this back, and now I can insert it. Okay, one more way I can bring it down. Second method, what I can now do is I can bring the whole thing down, disconnect this piece, and then break it back up. Now, how do I disconnect it? So I will move this away. Either I can move it this way or I can move it this way. If I move this way, although I have disconnected it while rotating, notice this also rotates along. So I will not move it that side. I will move it away. I move this back up and move this back over here. And again, if you've gotten confused, it's completely okay. Trial and error, you'll get it. So let me show you one more time what I did. So my goal is to bring this down here without screwing it up. So I first bring it down, and then I want to take this back up, but I don't want to bring this back up again. So I move this away, bring this back up, move this back, and I have brought it down. And why did I bring it down? Because I know how to insert it. How do I insert it? Well, I can bring this down. And so I will first move this away, bring this down, connect it, insert it, and I'm done. All right. Okay. Hopefully you've gotten all of that. Now let's come to the last challenge. Now in the mist, this somehow got flipped, but let me now flip it down and show you how you would do that. Okay, so let's say we had a case like this. This is the worst case. I hate it. I always hated it because I had a hard time with this. Now, how do I insert this? The problem with this is, notice, no rotation is going to directly insert it. Even if I insert like this, the blue comes up. If I insert like this, the red comes up. So the question was, how do I insert it? Well, the idea is you first insert any one of the other colors. It's fine. Insert that first. So let's say I'll insert the blue one up here, and you now know how to do that. There are a couple of ways to insert it. One way to insert it is I move this away, bring this on the top, move this back. Or another way to insert this is I bring this down and connect it. To connect, I move this away, bring it down, connect it, and move this up. So any one of the methods you use to insert. And now we are in the second case. Now I'll move this down and then I'll insert. So how do I move this down? Well, I can move this away, move this down, move this back, and now I can insert it. Now to insert it again, I can either move this away, insert it, move this back, or, and hopefully you're getting tired of this now, or I can bring this down, connect it. So I can move this away, connect it, and then take it back. And we are done. With practice, you will be able to get this yourself. So all you need is a little bit of intuition, and then you will be able to use your own moves and get this yourself. So we've solved the first layer. Yay! And so now you can go ahead and practice solving the first layer. And once you've done that, then you can go to part 2, where you can figure out how to do some manipulations on the first layer. And then you can solve the whole cube, and which you will see in part 3. Sorry, in part 1. This series in the opposite direction. Okay. All right. Bye.